Well, Peter Schweizer has made things quite complicated for Hillary Clinton with the impending release of his book, Clinton Cash. About 2 weeks ago, the only thing Clinton had to worry about on the campaign trail was defending her Chipotle order. But once again, she's got a lot of explaining to do here. A flurry of revelations about the Clintons' financials have begun popping up everywhere as reporters dig into Schweizer's new book and his details. Now some big questions are facing the Democratic presidential hopeful. Did Clinton dole out political favors while she was Secretary of State? Why did the Clinton Foundation confuse millions in donations with basically zero donations? And just how much did Bill Clinton benefit from Hillary's cabinet job? The amount of speeches or the amount of money he was being paid for his speeches. Well, joining us this morning is the man behind the firestorm that he has created in the political world, Clinton Cash author Peter Schweizer. Peter, great to see you.
Thank you for having me here, Betty.
Okay, so let me just read. I mean, there have been several statements from the Clinton camp,
yes.
Okay, but I want to just read for you the part of the statement from Maura Polly, the acting CEO of the Clinton Foundation. She says, look, there were mistakes, quote, our error was that government grants were mistakenly combined with other donations. Those same grants have always been properly listed and broken out and available for anyone to see on our audited financial statements. So here she is saying this.
Yeah.
You've had Brian Fallon go on media and refute each claim.
Right. The problem is the facts don't correspond to that. And in fact, Bloomberg this morning, Joshua Green is reporting, and the Washington Post, that we now have 1,100 donations that ended up at the Clinton Foundation that were never disclosed. And part of the memorandum of understanding with the Obama transition team was they would disclose all donations, including donations going to this Clinton Juicer entity. So, you know, that statement, they are way behind the news cycle on this.
So you say that's erroneous?
Yes, that is erroneous. That's exactly right. And it's now been independently verified by the Post and here at Bloomberg that you have these 1,100 donations that they never disclosed. They were supposed to disclose all of them. A very simple requirement that President Obama put in place as a condition for her to be appointed Secretary of State.
Now, you say this is akin to insider trading, Peter. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is that, you know, people say, well, do you have an email or something that indicates
like,
it? No.
What's the evidence?
Yeah, the evidence is the pattern of behavior. It's a little bit like insider trading. Most people that engage in insider trading don't send an email that says, I have inside information, buy this stock. Prosecutors will look
Sometimes
at it.
Sometimes they do.
They do. But a lot of times, the smart ones, they will look at a pattern of well-timed stock trades. They have access to inside information, and they just seem to always guess right. That has been sufficient grounds numerous times for prosecution for insider trading. And if you look at the former governor of Virginia, Governor McDonnell, you look at Senator Menendez, the prosecutions that they have faced, I think legitimately, there's far less evidence than there is as it relates to the favors given to a Clinton Foundation donors.
So then how would you, because you've investigated many of the financial dealings of political figures here, how would you rate what you found with the Clintons versus the others that you have dug into?
That's a great question, Betty. I mean, I think if you look at the quantity of money and you look at the amount of money, the sources of money, and the timing of beneficial policy actions, it's extremely troubling. We're not talking about one or two.
Better?
I think it's worse in a lot of cases because we're not talking about one or two or three examples. We're talking about dozens of examples and policy decisions that always benefit those who have provided them with funds. I think ultimately what happens is there needs to be investigation by somebody who actually has subpoena power, who can actually try to look at those emails.
What would you subpoena, though? If you had those powers, what would you subpoena?
I would subpoena the server. I would subpoena the emails. I would subpoena phone records to see when they're having conversations, when they're having discussions, and to see if it fits the pattern. I mean, the Clinton position is basically that these are all just massive coincidences. I don't think there's that many coincidences in American politics. I mean, I've seen it on both sides of the aisle. I've gone after both sides of the aisle, and I just don't believe...
there's a pattern?
Yes, there's an extensive pattern.
Okay, so Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson has come out and said, look, you know, I don't want the right to rise up quite yet. You know, he says there's no evidence of quid pro quo here. He said it looks like it just might be mistakes. So are you surprised, Peter, that some Republicans haven't taken up this mantle, haven't pressed harder on these accusations?
No, I think I would hope that, first of all, I don't know if that he's read the book. There's a lot of people commenting on it that haven't even read the book, and a lot of claims what they're saying I'm saying. What I'm simply saying is, look, there's a position that Hillary Clinton takes. There's an influx of large amounts of money, tens of millions, and sometimes more than $100 million from an interested party, and then she reverses course. She takes a policy prescription 180 degrees different than the position she previously held.
But the Clinton camp said that, you know, for instance, in the Uranium One situation, she wasn't even involved directly in that, though.
Well, I would dispute that. I would dispute that. I don't think that's an accurate representation. You have, in that case, think about this, a small uranium company in Canada that the Russian government wants to purchase. You have 9 major shareholders who are giving $145 million to the Clinton Foundation and sponsoring speeches as all of this is going on. Maybe that's coincidence, but when you see all the other examples in the book, it's really hard. It's hard to conclude that it's coincidence.
Okay, so does this disqualify her from being president, in your view?
I don't want to make a decision for voters. I think people should look at information that are voters. They should look at financial issues. They should look at character and policy. But I think this raises huge concerns about whether she's compromised. I mean, if you are doing these kinds of deals with foreign entities, are you beholden to them? Do you have commitments that you've made?
Right. Have you abused your power, essentially? Have you abused your position? Okay. So we know that you are now working on the same thing with Jeb Bush.
Right.
Okay. So are you, without, you know, giving details exactly on what you're finding, but are you finding some similar situations here?
We are, and I'd love to come back at some point to talk about it if you guys are interested.
Absolutely.
You know, obviously in the case of Jeb Bush, he's governor of Florida, so you don't have the geographical breadth that you have with the Clintons, but you have all kinds of questions when government money is put into land deals, into airports, into these sorts of various things, and these individuals or these entities are connected to the governor or people that are connected to the governor. It raises a lot of questions. We've been researching it for about 4 months. We expect to have something in a couple of months, and as we've done with this project, we're partnering with media outlets.
Okay, and I was going to say, are you going to be fair, release it before the vote? Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Should be this summer, early fall at the latest.
Okay, and I'm curious personally, Peter, because when you put out something this controversial, what kind of, have you gotten threats, death threats?
I'll just say we have security, and that security is not something that just came because we decided to have security, and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay, so you have full-time security?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Peter, I'll protect you right now.
No, I feel a lot safer. I feel a lot safer. Thank you.